So, as we go into this new school year, I think one of the biggest difficulties, one of the most important things that's going to happen is making sure that we're keeping things as organized for our students as possible. Um, Along with this being new territory for us, having so much stuff online, it's obviously new territory for them and for their parents. That was one thing that I think no matter what grade level, people got feedback on last year as teachers, was that organization, especially on the parent end, is super important because parents want to feel like they can help and support their kids, and they don't think they can do that if they don't have an organized structure of like what's happening. So this document is what I've been working on that is my goal to be using this year. Hopefully it works out well. I did not do this last year. I did something slightly similar, but not anything as involved as this. I've kind of taken some of the different ideas I've had and combined them. So what we're looking at is it's a Google slide again. So I like these Google slides. Specifically in this one, it allows me to link different documents within the slide, which is I'll talk about that I like about it. Again, I've gone in and I've made it page size, so if I wanted to print any of these out, I can. What I have in this document is our chemistry schedule, and it is literally 3 different views of our chemistry schedule. I have weekly schedules, I have monthly schedules, and I have chapter schedules. Now, it may seem confusing or overwhelming to separate them out like that, but in my opinion, each view has different positives that you can't really get. So there are positive sides to a weekly view, to a monthly view, and to a chapter view that you can't really get with the other two. So by having all 3, I think it's good. But that's also why I have this cover page, which we'll come back to, that helps keep everything organized. So this first page breaks everything down: weekly views, monthly views, and chapter views. I decided I'm going to make this by quarter. So I will make 4 of these a year. And I'll talk about how these are hyperlinked in. But as I go through the year, all the rest of these will eventually get hyperlinked. The only things you see in blue are the ones that have been made so far. I'm not a crazy person. I did not plan out through October yet. So this first weekly view is our first week of school. So each type of view is organized differently. So my weekly views are purple. My monthly view is this sort of marbled, and then my chapter view is this green. So that way it's easily recognizable by the students. They look visually different, so they know that they're on the right type. So I broke this down. I created this little document that has a weekly view, so Monday through Friday. I created a category for things they should have done when they walk into class, just to make sure there's no confusion. With flipped classroom teaching, one of the most common things I would hear from students is, oh, I was supposed to do that before today's lesson. And most of the time it's an excuse. Most often the students are well aware that they should have done it before lesson, and that's just what they're saying to kind of get by with it. But this category basically leaves nothing to question them, like you need to have watched this video before you come into class. So it just kind of points that out to them. This category and the homework category are kind of redundant. I only included this category because of that flipped classroom dynamic. So the online pre-work, things that should be done when you walk into class that will be needed for what we're doing in class. The in-class work, talking about just what we're doing that day. So our first day, we're doing a staggered entry. So sophomores and seniors' first day for us will be on that Wednesday. Juniors' first day will be on that Thursday. Kind of generally telling them what's going on and then what their homework is. So these are the things they need to fill out. And I've put these little fingers to let them know if there's multiple things. And I've highlighted things that are going to be graded. So you'll see here, I want them to read my guidelines and expectations. I didn't highlight it because I'm not going to grade it. Being very clear and precise about what they need to do and then what is actually going in for points, I think is super important as we enter this phase of learning, not just for the students, but for the parents. It helps make everything as transparent as possible. I included important things for the week, so things that I want them to know, and then I kind of gave them a color key for what these highlighted things mean. So that's my first week. My second week, again, just going through things, showing them exactly what we're going to be doing. Used a different color for the fact that we have an assessment. So having these weekly views, I think, is very nice because it lets the student know exactly what's going on. Weekly views were what I heard from parents were the most useful. When we were doing that e-learning, that's what I was sending out to parents, was a weekly view every week. So this, I got a lot of feedback from parents as liking this a lot. I also think it's useful to have a monthly view to sort of be able to give a snapshot of like, okay, this is when we're starting school, this is what the homework assignments will be, and then this is when your assessment will be. I use the same color coding and highlighting that I did on the weekly views, so they should already know what those are, and it just kind of gives them a snapshot. I think this is an easier way to look and say, okay, what do I need to do? What homework am I going to have? Those sorts of things. So I think this is really nice if you're trying to plan ahead. Now, obviously in August, can't plan too far ahead because there's not much of August. This will be more useful, I think, when we get to September and I can kind of lay things out. And then the very last thing is our chapter schedule. Our chapter schedules we always made. This is something that we've been doing in chemistry for several years. The woman I teach with, she has been doing it for many years before I was ever there. And she and I have kind of been working on it the last couple of years. You'll notice that there are lots of things hyperlinked. So this chapter schedule really gives us a great opportunity to organize all of our materials into one place. The last couple of years, she and I have been working on every time we come up with our chapter schedule that we actually hyperlink those assignments and activities into the document itself. It makes it a really easy place. So if students lose something, if they need to find access to something, yes, they can go to Google Classroom. Yes, things are linked in there, but flowing through the assignments and things like that can get a little complicated. If they know they're going to be gone and they want to know what they're missing, like, oh, what's this assignment? They can click on it and they can go to that chapter 1 assignment and they'll have it right there. So just getting extra copies of things, it's really convenient having everything hyperlinked in on this document. So that's what we use the chapter schedule for, is really to hyperlink everything in that the student might need. They could literally do the whole chapter from this page specifically, which again is super nice and convenient. And bonus, we have these from the previous year. So what we do is we go through, obviously dates change every year, but we have these saved. And so then when we start looking at chapter 2, we will pull up our chapter 2 schedule from last year, look at the dates, adjust it. We make our own notes on the side if things went well, if we need to get rid of something, if something took a little more time, and we can adjust our schedule, but it gives us a great place to go off of. So not only is this great for the students, but it's also great for us. Plus, once all of this stuff is hyperlinked in here, again, we have it for the years ahead. So things like guidelines and expectations, which don't really change from year to year, it's already linked. And because these are all Google documents, if I do want to change something in this guidelines and expectations, I just go to that document and I change it. And then when they follow this hyperlink, it takes them to the changed document. So because all of these are literally like living and they all can change and be altered, it makes it super, super convenient from teachers so that way you're not like redoing your work every single year. It's a huge, huge time saver. Okay, so one thing I do want to go back to this chemistry schedule and I want to show you. I mentioned that these things are hyperlinked. Hopefully many of you know how you hyperlink things in. If you don't know how to hyperlink something, you can highlight it. You hit Control K and this hyperlink comes up. Now you can paste a link or a Google document or anything into there. That's how on the chapter 1 schedule things are hyperlinked. So if I click on this, I've literally hyperlinked a document in to my form. So I can take another Google form or another Google document and link it to this page. So I can just highlight whatever words I want. But the other thing you can do in a slides presentation is you can actually hyperlink certain slides. So this is sort of my front page where people can, my glossary. So as this document grows, because I'm going to just continue adding to this document every single week, every single month, I'll continue to add to it. So as this document grows, it's going to get really cumbersome to have to scroll through and find what you're looking for. Schedules are only helpful if they're easy to get to. If you have to scroll through 15 pages to find the week that you need, that's not helpful for the students. So this will always be page 1, and they will actually be able to just click on that, hop to slide 2, and boom, they're on that week's schedule. So as we start getting more and more of these weeks ahead, instead of having to scroll through to get to October 5th, they'll be able to just click on it and it will take them straight there. Same with the monthly view, same with the chapter view. So everything will get linked right on this page. And that is going to be super helpful, I think, for my students and for my parents. So that means that this will only be shared with my students and parents one time. I'll share it with them at the very beginning of the quarter, and then I will just continue to add to it. And so as I add to it, they'll have more access and more things they can view further ahead and all of that. But because it's, again, a living document, I can change it. And that link that I give them will continue to change and grow with me, which is really helpful for parents, helpful for students. And I think this is going to be a really nice way for them to be able to organize. Plus, this gives them the option if they don't care about the monthly views or they don't care about the chapter views, if they just want to focus on weekly views or whatever, they can just click on them and they can kind of ignore the ones that they don't feel like they're going to use or need. But they always have them available all in one place, organized really nicely. So hopefully this helps you. If you have any ideas, things I didn't do that you think that would be helpful for this, feel free to let me know. I love new ideas. I love new thoughts on stuff that I'm doing. But that's pretty much it.